Have you ever wondered what it takes to hike 20 miles in under 8 hours? Well, in this video, we take on the Mammoth March and find out how to do it. The Mammoth March kicked off their 2023 series with their first event at the Oak Mountain State Park, located just south of Birmingham, Alabama. Like most state parks, this one has a campground which we used as a staging area and camped for the weekend during the event. But let's back up a little bit and talk about the Mammoth March. What exactly is this? Well, the Mammoth March is a challenge, not a race or a competition, to do a 20-mile hike in under 8 hours. So check-in for the event was very easy, and we got our participant wristbands. We're able to take a few before pictures at the starting area, and then before you know it, we're on the trail.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dixie cup martini, dress is shining through. All right, just hydrated.
At all the Mammoth Mountain event locations, they always do a good job in trying to make a complete 20-mile loop somewhere instead of having to do multiple short loops. For the Alabama event, they did do a 20-mile loop, which had 2 water stops and 2 aid stations. Both aid stations in the first water station was accessible by vehicles, so if you had somebody out there that was supporting you, either by just cheering you on or with equipment or whatever, they could get to 3 of the 4 stops. So now it's time to hike and hike and hike and hike. The Alabama loop consisted of single and double track hiking trails, some gravel walking trails, a little bit of Forest Service roads, and then also for very short periods of time, a few paved areas. Now, 1,300 people started the Alabama event, and obviously, with 1,300 people, they did do a staggered start, and I believe that they cut it down to about 200 people every half an hour. And even within those half an hour starting areas, they only released groups of 4 to 5 people every 30 seconds. But even once you got out on the trail, everybody's hiking at different speeds, so there were some areas where you got globbed up and stuck behind slower traffic, especially on some of the really skinny single track hiking trails. The setup for the event did have mile markers throughout the whole course, and also at any of the trail intersections there was clear signage and trail markers so you didn't make a wrong turn anywhere. Here's approaching into the first water point, and the water points were just that. It was kind of a limited supply stop where they had water, they had powder mixes for electrolytes or energy drink mixes. They did have coffee and tea there, but there was no food at the water points. They did have limited first aid as far as like blister packs if you were having blisters on your feet already. There were some porta potties there, but there was no food at the water points. So let's look at the math real quick for a 20-mile hike in under 8 hours. That's going to require you to have a pace of 24 minutes per mile, not taking into account any of your stops at aid stations, bathroom breaks, water points, whatever. So a training goal for myself was to, at a worst case, do 20-minute miles.
I lost Steve.
The aid stations for this event had everything we saw at the water point, but also food and a little more first aid. So they had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, they had fruit, They had power bars, candy, a lot of different options for you, plus additional first aid if you needed anything a little more than just blister packs for your feet. Something to pay attention to for your event is the elevation gain. For Alabama, it was 2,700 feet, and a big chunk of that was right after the first aid station around mile 8, and it was all uphill to the second water point that was around 11.3 miles. A great thing about the Mammoth March is between their Facebook pages and their web pages, they provide you with a lot of information for your preparation before the hike, whether it's training, shoes, recommended packing lists, or anything like that. So it's a great source to go check out, and we'll put links to that down in the description below. And I want to say a big thanks to my friend Phil, pictured here. He came out with me and did the challenge along with me, and it really helped having somebody out on the trail with you instead of trying to do this whole thing by yourself. Phil finished around the 7-hour and 31-minute mark. Great job, Phil. Like I said earlier, 1,300 people started the Alabama event, but only 850 completed it under the 8 hours. Was I one of them?
Fantastic!
Congratulations, like to see you about a medal, sir.
Congratulations! All right, we got a couple single finishers. Come on, come on! We want to give you that medal. To the finish line. Woo! You didn't die. All right.
Doesn't mean you can die here.
Congratulations! Well done. Did you think it was just like it was just a breeze?
A kiss to your wife or something?
Right there.
How you doing, baby?
20 miles in under 8 hours with a 2,700 foot elevation gain really kicked my butt, but I did it, and I'm glad I did it. I hope this video gave you a good oversight of what I experienced on my march, and if you're planning or training for your march, what you may see while you're out there. As always, check our description, as we'll put some additional links down there for more information. And until next time, we'll see you out there getting fresh air.